What's going on, everybody? Welcome in. I couldn't wait any longer, in fairness. I was sat here just chatting away to the La Familia Madrigal over on TikTok, and I thought, do you know what? Let's just get into the live stream. We've got quite a bit to talk about, quite a bit to get into, and ultimately break down, because boy, oh boy, has today been a pretty interesting day. We opened up probably feeling a little bit worse for wear. I remember looking at the markets this morning thinking, bro, 2%, like what? Just wiped out every single game we got from yesterday. Oh, how wrong I was. Markets skyrocketed. Some people may even say that we knew it was coming. I'm not going to claim any kind of credit at all, actually, at the minute. But very interesting day in the markets. We're going to break down, I guess, more importantly, what is going on. How much more is there to come? Is Trump going to dump it even more? I mean, what's hilarious is you get this kind of pump on the Bitcoin price and you get this pump on the market, and all of a sudden Trump's like, might not meet President Xi. You're like, just shut up for at least a freaking week, for God's sake. Anyway, we'll talk a little bit about market structure and what is going on. I want to dive into a little bit tonight in terms of just, I guess, this relationship with gold and the Federal Reserve. And I think that's an important relationship to talk about. So if you think about some of the things we've done, we've talked about gold, we've talked about interest rates, we've talked about altcoins, we talked a little bit last week about the ISM. If you didn't catch my Bitcoin update video, please go and watch it. I actually really think it's a great video where it just talks about correlation between ISM data, expectations of PMI data as well, which is something that's looking pretty bullish and pretty optimistic, and therefore could play out certainly favorable into the markets. And then we'll talk a little bit again about what's going on, like what's going on in the markets, why it's all doing what it's doing. And like I said, the question probably on everyone's mind right now is what comes next? And I think that's probably where we want to get to. So as always, do me a quick favor, smash up the like button to a brand new all-time high. If you are new around here, don't forget, hit that subscribe button as well. Or if you want to become a channel member, get access to our Discord, get access to our trade alerts, everything else, where we literally talked about the potential of this move. Like Sunday report kind of felt like it had a couple of bits in it. So if you want to get in that, become a channel member. It's dead easy. Also, you can come and be a subscriber on TikTok as well, and you get access to that group as well, which is highly worthwhile. Like I said, our airdrop thing should go live pretty soon as well, which I'm excited about. So yeah, working hard and certainly trying to make sure there's some absolute value within that Discord group. So if you are interested, join 200, I think it's like 240 people that are in there right now. So a pretty bullish group. With that though, we're gonna get into it and talk about what's going on. So yeah, Craig's here, Tim's here, welcome in. Big Al, good to see you, buddy. Welcome in. JFR, Magic Craig. Robert Foz is here. Welcome. Subby Ghost. Welcome in. Dave. CJ the DJ, you massive legend. What's going on? Batescoins here. Matt3898 says he's sick of it. I get your feelings, bro. But today's a good day. Let's allow the good times to roll. And then we'll worry about it. Hobbs, what's going on, man? Welcome in to you as well. And yeah, we'll get into it. Okay. And then welcome, Waddy. I saw you coming in. What's going on, Waddy? Good to see you, buddy. Welcome in. Fairgrounds here as well. You massive choppers. XRPs, he's in the building. Like I said, do me a quick favor, tap the screen, do all that kind of good stuff. You know how the drill works. And as always, I appreciate you guys. So with that, TikTok, you guys need to look that way. And YouTube, you need to look at the charts and see what's going on. So very interesting. Let me just see, make sure. Yeah. I mean, weirdly, you can see me. I mean, yeah, anyway. Okay. So very interesting chart here. Very interesting how this is kind of all playing out. And yeah, like we said, pretty interesting market structure today. The debate is obviously, is this or was this a deliberate move given the market sentiment? Was this kind of priced in? Was there an expectation that we were going to get this kind of move as well? Very, very interesting indeed as well. So Craig gifted a membership. Thank you so much, Craig. RPM, welcome to the members club. You absolute massive legend. If you are in our Discord, let me know. You're going to get a month free of our premium Discord as well. So shout out to you, Craig. Thank you for that. Massively appreciative. So again, we're here on the 1 hour chart. Pretty interesting chart playing out. And yeah, a couple of interesting things that happened. When you look at macro ETF movement, we actually saw outflows on some of the bigger ETF products, but inflows into the accumulation of the actual core asset, which is Bitcoin. Now, you could play this now as then two possible scenarios. One could be that we think that demand is going to start increasing, which would be pretty interesting, wouldn't it? If you think about how that's all playing out. Historically, when we look at that macro data, remember, that data is a lagging indicator. So it's telling us that sentiment, or that there is a demand for it, not necessarily who is buying it, but a demand for it. Equally, it also tells us if there is a demand to sell And I think that is also important to reference as well. So when we take a look at kind of BlackRock here, and I'll bring it up really, really quickly, we can see that we've still continued to see outflows. Not crazy yesterday, but we definitely saw outflows. Likewise today, we actually did see 908 BTC coming out of BlackRock. Likewise, we saw Grayscale, which I think is kind of where it is, right? That's not anything different. It's not anything new. We generally just see this kind of pattern playing out. So, but what you saw overall is an accumulation. And when you go into the specific wallets, then we did actually see buying pressure coming in. This is not a retail candle, okay? I think everyone is fair and would agree with this. This absolutely is not a retail candle. If we put the volume indicator on, just to give us kind of a view as to what this looked like, then, you know, you're talking a whopping 1,208 BTC that's going to come in on this move, which is, you know, pretty epic if you ask me. And certainly, you know, starts to beg the question, sorry, 2,490 BTC coming in. This definitely isn't a retail move. This was deliberate, whatever you want to call it. And when you look at some of the wallets, we know SpaceX was moving a bit of Bitcoin around, etc., okay? Which is fine. Look, good news on the hourly. 4-hour candle didn't break the 200 EMA. Again, important that this is kind of a key level we want to break. This is going to tell us that the confirmation of the move to the upside is in. However, we do get a little bit more optimism in the shorter time frame. So the yellow line being the 20-day EMA, the blue being the 50, the OBV indicator as well. Just ticking neutral, so we'll see where this is. 4-hour chart, though, once again, with the RSI MTF indicator telling us that this is also a bullish move. 12-hour chart starts to print a different picture. You can see a slightly uptick trend here. Again, this key support that we've been talking about for ages is held up. And then likewise on the daily, interestingly enough, rejected at the 50-day EMA and then pulling back right now. Again, not the end of the world. I think what's important to reference here, though, is the wick size to the downside and the wick size to the upside. So the morning, we actually came right down, retested this incredibly strong support line, which should give us some confidence, should also give you something that says if we were to break this line, then this could end up being a relatively bearish indicator of where market sentiment is going to go. However, this is pretty good news. And I think the fact we saw not necessarily the Asian market, so we're not talking Hong Kong or China specifically, we're talking more India, we're talking more early hours, Malaysia, etc., that kind of created this big push down. But that sits where it is. And then the weekly candles, look, this is a good move back above the 20-day EMA. And then again, printing pretty much potentially what we've been seeing over the course of at least the last, 12 to 14 months. So that's the price of Bitcoin. Good news, okay? We'll take it with this. Now, also, what's very, very interesting today, and we'll talk a bit more about this, is gold absolutely shit the bed today, okay? In a big, big way. 5.5% down on gold. Now you got to ask yourself the question, why? Why did gold suddenly shit the bed? Was it retail sellers? Was it the mass panic that we've seen? Was it the crazy people that were absolutely going, wild and, FOMO buying into gold? Maybe the bubble burst. Maybe we're seeing rotation of capital. That is for the journey through this video or this live stream. Silver, absolutely the same. Now, there is actually a pretty interesting indicator that we'll touch on in a little bit. Don't you guys start... Oh, no, that's someone else. Sorry. I need to exit the Discord. That's someone else I've been talking to. Not anyone weird, by the way, but someone else I've been talking to. Anyway, so silver taking a pretty big hit as well. Likewise, by the way, likewise, the NASDAQ held up, the DXY came down a little bit, and then nothing else really moved. The other thing to note, by the way, before we get into some of the more specific details of this movement today, you actually saw all US bonds start to downtrend. Remember what we said? Gold, silver, bonds, down, crypto market goes up, generally as a rule of thumb. We broke that down quite specifically over the course of the last couple of days. Interesting enough, that is the IBIT UK ETP skyrocketing today, by the way. I don't know if you saw this, but again, this is good news. This shows that there is accumulation again. And I think as we see some of these ETFs, and should give you some confidence that when we get some of these 3x and 5x leveraged ETFs, this could be crazy. Now, the big thing is obviously getting the government back open, which potentially still is on the cards for Friday. Feels unlikely, but look, it was unlikely we were going to get a pump today, and look what happened. So pretty good news. All right. We'll sort of talk a little bit more about this in just a minute, but I want to just double down really, really quickly on where we sit. 1.6% down on the quarterly on Bitcoin, 1.6, which will have been this morning's numbers. So this should, I think, flip green tomorrow morning. Does that make any difference? Probably not for any normal investor. It may do just for those people that we want to see coming in. New people that all of a sudden are like, oh, actually, Bitcoin feels all right in October. Probably does give us some optimism, maybe to running to the end of October and then into potentially a solid move in November. Okay. Just to give you a bit of an idea of where we still sit, by the way, that gold is specifically outperforming Bitcoin, which is very, very interesting. This has never happened in history. And generally speaking, we've actually seen Bitcoin outperform it. So again, if you were a, let's say a pessimist or a skeptic, shall we say, you would be in a place where the expectation is that you will see Bitcoin rally a little bit. The only 3 times it's ever happened where Bitcoin has underperformed have all been post or the year after bull market. So for example, 2013 was a bull market. 2014, we saw Bitcoin take that as a 57% decline. Likewise, 2018 post 2017, and likewise 22 post 2021. So again, even if you go on this metric, you would argue that gold is overvalued to a degree. Gold's never been in this position ever, and never been in this higher returns, which, you know, you could argue maybe is the bubble that could burst. And then obviously Bitcoin around 22%. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what's been going on today. Let's talk a little bit about how this is playing out and therefore potentially what is going to come next. TikTok, welcome back. All right. Weirdly, what is going on? Did OBS just disconnect? What? Are you guys back? I think you guys are back. Okay, that's weird. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why I just disconnected, but hopefully you're back with me. Let me know in the chat. The stream is Mashup Fam. I mean, I'm not dropping any frames, so it's not my end, I don't think. And I've got nothing open there. I mean, I've got a couple of windows open that I maybe could close down. Let me close that. You guys are right on TikTok, right? Nothing's going wrong on TikTok, so I think it's fine. I'm not dropping. Oh no, I am dropping frames. Why am I dropping so many frames? Weird. Okay, I think it's okay now. I think we're okay. We dropped 50 frames. Okay, we should be fine. Right. So, continue on. They're trying to take us down. They don't want me to talk about cryptocurrency. All good over here on TikTok, mate. Okay, appreciate it, mate. Appreciate it. Fine here. Cheers, Devo. So, the question that always sits here is this true? Now, we looked at gold and we also looked at the price of Bitcoin, and we debated, do the two correlate? Now, if you remember, when we actually put it specifically on the charts, you could see a complete correlation or an adverse correlation between gold and the cryptocurrency market. We talked about this the other day. You can put this on here, which would be BTC USD, and you can sort of see the correlation. As you can see, Bitcoin pumps, generally speaking, gold dumps, and exactly the opposite. So again, you can see here, look, Bitcoin starts to tick to the upside, and we see the price of gold start to come back down. That's probably a little bit easier. There you go. You can sort of see how that plays. Obviously, it's not a logarithmic scale because you can't run on the same sort of, you can't run on the same metrics to a degree, but it's fair to say that the two are relatively well correlated. So when you start to then look, oops, wrong one. When you start to look at this kind of is pretty interesting in terms of how this kind of plays through. I'm frozen again. I shouldn't be. I've still only dropped 57. I think it's you, Obi Joe, being the hilarious comedian that you absolutely are. Warren Buffett, thanks, Stardog. Appreciate that. So then you kind of debate this. There is no other obvious metric, in my opinion, by the way, that says more than ever that, yeah, what the fuck's going on? Okay, I don't know why OBS keeps disconnecting. I've no idea why it keeps disconnecting. What is going on tonight on this live stream? I've got I don't know. I've no idea, Al. Obviously, I knew that. I'd fix it. I don't know what's going on with my stream. I don't know why or what is happening. I have no idea. YouTube, pal, do we think? I mean, it could be this AWS thing. I mean, it's probably a thing. I'm not dropping any frames. I dropped 50 frames. That's definitely not me. I've got 7,000 kilobits per second. Like, definitely not my problem at this end. I'm absolutely fine. The fact that TikTok's still up, like, TikTok's not going anywhere. Do you pay your internet bill? Shut up, XRP. Shut up. Okay, well, look, we're just going to try and keep going. And hopefully hopefully this will continue. I think it's actually must be a YouTube thing. Okay, right, perfect. Well, maybe we have to move it on to TikTok. Anyway, right, let's carry on. So, the debate then is, are we seeing rotations of capital? And the question would therefore be why. I can't find anywhere. GC, thank you so much, man. You're a massive legend. I appreciate it. I can't see anywhere where it's going to give us the indication that this is going to be the case. Again, I welcome anyone who can find that data to let me know. But it certainly feels like when you look at some of the specific holdings. So we're getting obviously earnings reports coming through this week. We also get some bank audit sheets as well, which could be pretty interesting as well. So we'll see how that one plays out. But I think it's fair to say, right now that the rotation of elements of the gold pump is coming into the Bitcoin price, which we've seen previously as it moves. So the question then is, why is gold dumping? Like, why have people been spooked in the market, and why are people selling gold and selling silver like crazy people? Well, the answer is this. This is the answer to a degree, okay? Now, you will have heard a lot recently of Donald Trump talking about his tariff battle with China. Yes, he's going to meet President Xi. No, he's not. China's going to be fine. No, it's not. Like, it's all this kind of nonsense, right? All this kind of crazy stuff. But China's rare earth exports fall for a third month in September. Now, why is this important? This is important because actually this is what they're almost leveraging the tariff situation with. So all of a sudden you've got people realize there's no need for the Chinese exports. People can go and find this elsewhere. So for example, gold can come from places like Brazil. I think there's loads of stuff coming out of it's not great, the Congo, etc. You know my point. But the reality is that this is a continuation decline, which means that if you continue the route of this, the tariffs, or as we talked about the other day, the chicken in the road will have to be China, because they don't have leverage, and the leverage they have done or they have got is declining. And as the potential of a Russia-Ukraine war end comes more favorably, this plays out a little bit more into this. So this is why you're seeing elements of gold dumping today, okay? So coming down off the top, which again, you could argue is maybe a bubble, whatever it is, right? But if it's going to move down 6%, that's a pretty big move down in a 24-hour period, I think is probably fair to say. So, but yeah, you can see that. That's a pretty big wick down. Wick down, over 22%? If you were to look at this, and came down 5.5% as it was right now. Actually came down a little bit further. So I think it's about 6.2%, something like that, which, wipes out the last kind of week of those gains that sit where with gold, which is kind of interesting as well. So that kind of gives you that. Obviously, we touched on this a little bit, which is kind of like, this is a very typical what you'd expect in almost FOMO bull market. Like, man, Bitcoin's dumping a little bit. Is Bitcoin, what's going on? Where's Bitcoin? Yeah, Bitcoin is wicking down actually, like pretty nastily. 110,800, like the market's collapsing. Has Trump tweeted out some bullshit or something? Does that come out? Can anyone confirm what we've had? Maybe like Trump's like, oh, actually, I think President Xi's a bit of a dickhead. Anyway, carrying on. We obviously got this kind of craziness, which is, as I say here, you saw normies lining up around the block to buy shiny rock and didn't think gold top was in. I mean, maybe it isn't. Maybe it kind of pushes up a little bit higher, but certainly kind of feels interesting as this kind of plays through and people sort of buying gold. And we sort of touched on this a little bit. Is the, institutions that have been buying gold forever. We talked about this, that the banks have been buying more gold than they've ever bought in the last century. Like, they've been accumulating gold, potentially on the, precipice of double rate cuts coming in. And no, it's Christopher Waller. I'm going to talk about that in a minute as well. This could be part of why it's come down. Okay, so I think we've got to wait and see. With anything in this market right now, you can't really draw conclusions on a 24-hour period. You've got to kind of see where everything sort of works its way through and ultimately kind of gets us to a potential outcome. Now, what's also interesting, and you're seeing a lot of these charts come out at the minute, which we haven't seen for a while, is that loads of people now are really discussing this whole scenario of gold versus Bitcoin. And actually, Bitwise themselves have now released this, which is basically what would happen if a percentage of rotation of gold came into Bitcoin. So, for example, the total gold market, what would that look like? Now, again, you can't really take price predictions as to kind of what it's at, etc. But for example, if you were to get 1% rotation, the expectation then on a Bitcoin price would be 134K, all the way up to, if you got 5% rotation out of gold into the cryptocurrency market, or more specifically into Bitcoin, you could be looking at $240,000. Okay, pretty interesting as that walks through. I think what's more important here is even Bitwise are now looking at this rotation. And I think this is kind of going to be a interesting statement. We just got breaking news, by the way. Let me just get a quick look at this. Something to do with Fed Waller. What's he said? Let's just bring this up real quick. He has said, Justin, Federal Reserve Governor Chris Waller says cryptocurrency is woven into the fabric of the payment of the financial system. Okay, I don't care about that. Why is the market all of a sudden just took a massive dump? Don't know. Okay, don't know. So yeah, pretty interesting that Bitwise would refer now to this kind of gold rotation that we've been talking about. We'll see how that plays out. Now, what we have seen over the course of the last 24 hours, and I guess the point here where you sort of walk through are exchanges buying cryptocurrency. Are they going big on specific cryptos? Well, look, this is from Binance, and you can see here, well, what you've got is cumulative volume data on Binance. I think it's Coinbase, OKX, and Bybit. These are the coins at the bottom here. And you can see kind of what's happening. So inflows are spiking as they drive volume into their exchanges. Now, obviously, this can be two things. Excuse me. This could be people buying a absolute shit ton of cryptocurrency. Like, that's fine. Okay, yeah, we can kind of get into that world. And then equally, you kind of get into this place where this may be, as we've talked about before, those kind of leveraging a lot of that momentum. So we can definitely say that exchanges were now starting to accumulate, as we've seen. Crowman, what's going on, buddy? As we saw them accumulating a significant amount of stable coins. A lot of people believe that this is part of the reason today, which is obviously the Federal Reserve meeting, not FOMC. This is specifically on digital assets that they meet every every kind of, I think it's 4 weeks, for example. Here was the agenda they were going to walk through. So they were bridging traditional finance with digital assets ecosystem, stablecoin use cases and business models, AI in payments, and you've got tokenized products, which I think a lot of people are, kind of in a world of what's going on with this. So this kind of plays out yet again some of the, I guess, the expectations of maybe what was going to come in today. This, while we got this from the actual Federal Reserve website, where it was going to specifically talk about master accounts, financial services legally enable entities following our guidelines, basically allowing payments for fintech and crypto firms to do it without kind of going through banks, which I thought was pretty interesting as well. So this was kind of a big meeting, which I think was underplayed a little bit, and maybe why we saw extreme volatility in the market. Maybe people got super, super excited about what was going to happen, but kind of all played out pretty interesting. So where do we summarize, I guess, and where do we get to as of right now? So we know that markets are closed. And we also know that, well, Bitcoin, I mean, does look kind of volatile right now, which is interesting. This has moved, hasn't it? This is like here somewhere, like that. Definitely moved. So what have we got right now? You've got an expectation that the Asian Pacific markets are going to open up marginally bullish, and commodities are also going to open up reasonable. I'm not going to go sort of crazy. You got gold with expectation, maybe down a little bit more. Oil potentially coming up. We'll talk about that a little bit later, and we'll sort of see how we get to where we get that. But I think the one to watch right now is definitely going to be how this develops from the China rare minerals, and particularly gold, particularly silver, as these two specifically have dumped on the market today. While at the same time keeping an eye on what happens with Bitcoin. I was just looking actually on the kind of what was happening with any specific wallets. And yeah, we see BlackRock buying quite a chunk. I will bring this up on the screen in just a minute. BlackRock buying quite a chunk of cryptocurrency this morning. Interestingly enough, when you start to walk through some of this other stuff as well, specifically when you look at what is happening, you can start to see that, we're not out of the woods yet. And I think it's fair to say, I don't think anyone's in a world where we believed that we were out of the woods. But again, Wintermute, one of the biggest liquidity providers. As you can see here, look, 2 minutes ago, USDC, 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 USDT, ETH, like some pretty heavy selling pressure, or specifically moving stablecoin across to Binance Hot Wallet, Circle Hot Wallet. Again, look at this. So we just saw that big wick down, that big capitulation. You got some pretty big movements of stablecoin, which probably is a post movement of crypto. So yeah, 10 million from Binance into Wintermute, 50 million Bitcoin from Binance into Wintermute. What have you got here? Wintermute moving Ethereum, Coinbase into Wintermute, 14 million USDC, Binance Hot Wallet moving 12 million Bitcoin. So, these kind of movements over the course of the last 10 minutes have probably created this little bit of push down. What does it do? Well, we all know that it liquidates the shoppers that are short. And again, we sort of saw this today, albeit it's always interesting when you get longs versus shorts. We definitely get way less longs liquidated, but look at that. Just in the last hour, $34 million worth of longs got liquidated. So pretty interesting. I definitely think this could be one thing to keep our eyes out for. There's definitely going to be chop in the market, but can we say now the market is on a reversal? I don't know. There you go. That's where I end this segment of the live stream. What's going on, Ben? I certainly believe that here I was a little bit uncomfortable at my market. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I said there and then we have to wait and see what happens. I actually put it in the premium Discord group where I said, look, I am. What did I say? What did the thing? What was my official statement? I can't remember exactly what it said. It was like I am cautiously bullish or something, or very slightly bullish based on a couple of macro sentiments that we get to. What did I say? Let me go into the alpha group. Here we go. My final thoughts. Oh yeah, short term, slightly bullish, but still in a fragile position. Watch the data and the trends. That's kind of where I got to, which was here. We definitely feel like there's a little bit more momentum to the upside. Today probably felt good. The only thing I don't like about today is we've wicked all the way up to the 20-day, the 50-day EMA at 114, and we're somehow now down back at 111. That means we've lost $3,000, which if you build that up across the actual entire market is a pretty big move. You said pack your bags. I think we're crashing. So yeah, I think we'll see. I think we feel a bit more optimistic than we have done. I think there's a lot going on behind the scenes that we can't see, and I think that's my absolute goal right now. In terms of trying to find out what's going on. I think that's going to be super, super important. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. And yeah, that's kind of where I get to. The gold, silver, China, and then Bitcoin, I think, are the four pillars that we're going to have to see, and certainly keep an eye on what's going on. So good. Right. Let's see if there's any questions about what we just talked about for the last 25 minutes. Man, that was a quick 25 minutes. And then we're going to get into anything you guys want to cover off, talk about, walk through them, and just close all these windows because we don't need them. There's a couple of bits of news, by the way. JP Morgan predicts a dollar decline. It's going to be good news, plus the Fed rate cuts. Coinbase bought Echo. A lot of companies buying a lot of big platforms right now. That Evernorth, by the way, if you haven't watched my Ripple video, go watch that because holy shit, that's going to be crazy as well. And then Bitcoin awaits a crucial US CPI data to jump over 120 or decline to 100. Maybe, just maybe, the data that is going to pull in on the CPI got a little bit more bearish today. I don't know. We'll have a look at it in a minute. Okay. Let's keep an eye on BTC real quick. And then I'm going to just leave it here on the... let's do the 5-minute chart just because it's a bit more fun to watch. While we just say hello to a few people and see what the hell is going on. Right. Making a massive short was right. Yeah, I mean, I still think a lot of that is kind of a little bit of a nonsense, really. Tendency Echo, man, what's going on, buddy? They all lined up to sell or buy gold. Buy gold. Can you believe that? It's crazy. Still shut down and up 2.49. What's going on? Pending. Kevin Sexton's in the building. We need 5 minutes extra time tonight. Are you guys watching the football? Cheese, what's going on, buddy? I didn't see you join. Welcome in. Good to see you, man. As always, appreciate it. Adam's here as well. I think Labour have limited our Wi-Fi bandwidth at 9 o'clock. They're taking me down. Sammy, what's going on, buddy? Welcome in. Appreciate you as well. Good to see you. Good. Holmes, I just read your message, by the way, but I don't see what you referred to. I don't know how you're going to do this and do it like on the QT because I don't want to make a big song and dance about it, but... I am looking. I don't see it. Try and think how you can answer me that by not being like weird about it. Anyway, and then Blockchain Bullhorn's in the building. What's going on? Vern's here as well. Welcome in, Vern. Good to see you. Don't forget, by the way, if you are bullish on cryptocurrency, you want to stay ahead of the market, join one of the best communities out there. Do check out the description. My link to my free Discord is down there. If you want to get access to our trade alerts as well as our new coins, then by all means, you can grab a channel membership here. Sports channel. It's going to cost you about $8. I can't speak tonight. $8. Or you can subscribe here on TikTok as well. We appreciate you guys. And like I said, if you enjoy these markets, you enjoy sort of looking at what's going on, I do put content out every single day to try and keep you kind of ahead of the markets. And I really try and put some good quality stuff in there rather than just, in the headlines today, Bitcoin's going up, or... we actually try and break down some key things and use a lot of Kobayashi charts. But yeah, so if you are interested, then do that. Bits Blaze, did you really get one? Bro, welcome to the world of live streaming on TikTok. It's wild. Still bought 168 BTC yesterday. Yep. The 2-Bit and Vern show tomorrow. You better believe it, baby. We're going to be back. We're going to be back bringing it. as always. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. The markets just took an absolute shit, though, which is kind of interesting, isn't it? Look at that. The altcoin market's gone from like super bearish, super bullish to, I just shit the bed. Interestingly, gold's still down and really kind of hovering around this kind of bottom end. So we'll see kind of what tomorrow brings. I think worthwhile noting, but certainly sentiment feels a bit better out there, which I think is good news. So, yeah. Good. All right, let me close that down, and close that. You posted great 2-bit. Thanks, Obi Joe. People always tell me you're a bit of a chopper, but I don't believe them. I think you're kind of cool. Waking up at 1:07 again then? Oh, I hope not, Matt. I mean, it would be a pretty bad thing, but we will see where that goes to. I don't think so. I think when you look at pre-market, it is a little bit early to look at the pre-market data, by the way, but Dow Jones expectation is up, S&P marginally down, 5 bips. Isn't going to really do much, is it? NASDAQ 57, not anything crazy. Russell down a little bit. Hong Kong, the Nikkei is looking like it's going to open a little bit more optimistic. Shanghai also looking like it could open up a little bit more optimistic as well. So we'll see. Gold we can't really price in right now because the market's kind of not really sorted out yet. But yeah, we'll see. Overall market sentiment feels like it's going to be okay. We don't have a lot coming in tomorrow, just FYI. It all sort of walks towards Friday's CPI, which is going to be big, by the way. If CPI comes in bad, it could be tasty. That's all I'll say. But we don't have a lot tomorrow to kind of go on, really. Lots of not really anything. Thursdays where it's going to get a bit more tasty, I think. You're going to get balance sheet update, which I think is going to be pretty interesting. You're going to get initial jobless claims, which is expected to tick up a little bit, i.e. more people, less work, as an example. And then we get Friday will be expectation on CPI. Now, it's still the same as we were talking about. So forecast is 3, consensus is 3.1, previous is 3.1. So we're looking for probably anything 3. Well, what do you want? I don't know if the market's going to like 3.1. I feel like maybe 3 is probably where we want to aim for. And if we get 3, we're probably going to be fine. If we don't, then might be a little bit tasty. IJ87 from Birmingham. What's going on, pal? Welcome. Man, I love it when we get new UK people. Shout out to the UK cryptocurrency movement. It's beautiful. Love it. Ever see a certified copy of the Income Tax Act? Have I ever seen one? I don't believe so. I don't know. Bitcoin still seems to be hovering in the high 110 range. Yeah, I mean, that's true. Taxes are voluntary acts and statutes, not law. I mean, that's true. I see a lot of the kind of arguments around it. You agree that 2-bit thinks I'm a chopper? Neither have I. Get out of here. I bet they passed the vote today to reopen. They didn't, did they? I thought are they voting now? Are they voting now? I thought they hadn't voted again. I mean, by the way, it's pretty obvious we're getting freaking rate cuts coming again in October. There is the debate, though, and we talked about this the other day, the SORP metric, telling us that the actual price expectation is 3 rate cuts by the end of the year, which could end up being pretty bullish. I mean, if let's appease some people. Again, I'm not saying that we're going to go into 2026, but let's say, for example, we went into June of 2026. Where could we sit? 3% interest rates? I mean, inflation did tick up a little bit in the US again, by the way, today. I don't know if you saw that, but Friday is definitely going to be the good one. And then next week, again, pretty quiet. Nothing a lot going on next week, by the way. PCE at 2.6 maybe. Oh man, I hate you guys when you type in Discord. So I have to close Discord because is there a way of like muting Discord? It would be good if we could. But anyway. Good. Right. Welcome in, everybody. If it's your brand new first time here, if it's your first time here, I absolutely talk about cryptocurrency every day. If that's something you're interested in, then hit the follow button, hit the subscribe button here on YouTube as well. Like I said, I don't stream Saturday nights, but I put content out every day, and I live stream at 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. in the UK. Basically taking your questions, answering the market, seeing what's going on, and trying to give you some absolute up-to-date, factual, not kind of nonsense hype stuff, just trying to give you some real discussions on what's going on in the market. So if you do have any questions, any thoughts, opinions, views, whatever, let me know. If you haven't already hit the like button, though, I would massively appreciate it because it does help out the channel. Likewise, smash up that. I mean, don't smash up the screen, but, tap the screen. That'd be great. Thoughts on Pepe? I am pretty deep into Pepe, in fairness, and I still hope... My view on Pepe, as it is for many of the altcoins right now, is if you believe that the bull market cycle is still intact, then you've got to be optimistic about a lot of your other coins. If you don't, things like Pepe, Bonk are going to be the ones that are going to be challenged. But I hold Pepe, I hold Bonk, and I'm hoping that, yeah, we're going to see some more upside move as well. I need the market to pump from next week for next month. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. XRP, yeah, I mean, XRP was looking great. It's actually one of the underperforming coins today, even with all that news. Now, if you didn't catch my, man, where did I put this? If you didn't catch my video today, then I actually ran some models on XRP, and I ran it on the assumption of what could happen. It's a pretty interesting chart, actually. I'm going to bring it up for you guys because I think it is worth looking at. Okay, here it is. Copy image address. Is that going to work? Oh, man, I hate it when it does that. It's like the most annoying thing in the world. Oh, this is not going to be good. How do I bring that up? You can tell this is for anyone who's brand new here, by the way, you can tell this is a high-end quality establishment because I'm like clicking things. Okay. We're going to have to kind of show you a little bit like this, which is kind of annoying, but it'll be able to explain. And weirdly, I can now draw on it if I want to. So I don't know if you want to see this, by the way, on TikTok. You guys can see this as well. So I actually ran some models based on the data that was suggested on this Evernorth acquisition. So Evernorth have come up and said, we are going to buy $1 billion worth of XRP, and we're going to buy it on the open market. So how does this play out? What could this look like? Can I get rid of this advert? No, I can't. That's even more annoying. And what could it look like? Now, again, you've got to be in a world where you can't take everything as gospel, but you can kind of work some of the models out based on, for example, liquidity, market cap. What does that look like in terms of buying pressure? You also look at it in terms of daily volume, yada, yada, yada. Okay, and you end up with 3 potential scenarios, which is the aggressive bull case, the base case, and the conservative case. So this all assumes based upon this line down here, right? So this metric down here is the number or the order size. So for example, this would be a single $1 billion hit. This is obviously 800 million, da, 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 da. You've got the aggressive case, which basically is they just buy, like, they just come in and buy here. So they go in to a exchange and buy $1 billion worth of XRP. Just to give you how unlikely that is, FYI, that would be they could go and buy the entire circulating supply on XRP on Bybit, and they could also buy it on, nice, Craig, cheers, mate. And they could also get it on BitGet. So they could buy every single XRP on Bybit and BitGet and like, just, see you later. Thanks very much for that. What does this assume, though? This assumes that, in my opinion, by the way, it's probably going to run the base case. So this will be they DCA or they purchase up to $1 billion worth of XRP over a prolonged period of time. This, therefore, reduces the impact in terms of price and then only gives you it. This is percentage, by the way. So, for example, if they come in and buy $1 billion worth of XRP and they buy it in one full clip, you could anticipate, not guarantee, anticipate anything in the region of 120 to 140% increase in terms of price, which would take us to about $9-ish, I think, on XRP as an example. Base case is the assumption that they would be sensible about it. And my view, by the way, and conservative is that they will literally just take as long as they possibly can to accumulate the most amount they can for the cheapest possible cost. So that would be, buy the dumps as an example. Still gets you to probably just under a 60%, maybe a 58% move on XRP. So, if you were to work that out, current price of XRP is what, $2.47? So what is, and if anyone wants to do this, by the way, what would be 58% of 247? Can anyone work it out? Boom, doom, 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 boo, 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 boo. Anyone? Anyone? 165? As in, that's the difference, or is that what you're saying the price is? I mean, I get it to be a different number, but let me add that to the overall price, which would be 247. I get 387. Yeah, Holmes nailed it. Obviously, Holmes nailed it. I get to $3.87, which potentially would be the increase if you got from right now. Now, this assumes that no other companies buy it, no other ETF products come in, all that kind of stuff, right? Just assumes that they come in and go, all right, we're just going to buy $1 billion worth of XRP. Clearly, that's not going to happen. I think what's interesting, though, is at the minute you are seeing loads of other elements, particularly treasury companies, starting to buy in and starting to accumulate where they are. We saw more Ethereum being purchased today, for example. And when you look at XRP, still only 11.5 billion. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see. I think it's interesting, though, definitely. Yeah, 330 or 360 was yesterday. They buy as they need. Yeah, I think they'll do that. I think they'll just buy over a certain set of time. Do you think they do a massive buy or quarterly buy? I think they will DCA over time. I think the interesting thing, they're going to buy in the open market. But yeah, I think they will just buy it over a prolonged period of time. Now, they could also come in and just buy chunks of it. Similar to kind of, I guess, what Strategy's doing, which is they may just be like, we bought $100 million worth of XRP. Either way, that first buy on the open market, I think gives us a nice little move. So we'll see. I'm curious on Crow. Okay, a couple of people are definitely interested in the Crow movement. So let's talk a little bit about Crow coin. Now, if you were part of this live stream ages ago, by the way, and we've sort of been talking about it for a while, we discussed that Crow looked bearish, okay? Maybe people didn't like it, but it did, right? This is definitely a downtrend on Crow. And what's important to reference here is the volume is pretty pants. Now, the metric to understand when it comes to Crow is the machine that sits behind it, the Kronos ecosystem, crypto.com, they know how to market their shit. Like, they know how to go big time. So Crow could quickly change. You know, you don't get to be part of the US government's, like, blockchain association thing by being crap. You know, you kind of get into world. But at the minute, when you look at this, you are very much bearish on this move. You're very much bearish where they say, Tim, coming in with a gifted membership. Really rich getting that membership. Shout out to Tim. Shout out to Craig for dropping the memberships tonight. Appreciate you guys. If you want to become a member, by the way, highly worth it. You are getting in early, which means you're getting in a cheap, discounted rate. If you want to check that out, by the way. Again, not financial advice. You don't have to. You can become a subscriber on TikTok. Also, you can grab a channel membership link in the description or just simply click the join button. And you're going to get some cool little icons. I am actually going to change it and put some coins in, I think, which would be cool, by the way. And yeah, I think once we hit a certain number, we're going to do some couple of like specific streams for members only. There'll be like some random streams come up, etc., etc., etc. So I think that's going to be pretty cool. Told you about Crow last year, flying now. That's true. That's true. Fairground, Tim Shea wins everything. He really does. He really does. So yeah, so I think unfortunately with Crow right now, it's a little bit bearish. Doesn't mean though that it doesn't have a potential upside move. I think when you look at it based on sort of where you sit right now, it needs to retake the 1487 at the 0.5 Fibonacci based on this previous trend move. That's the number I'm looking for. What doesn't help is obviously for some reason the markets have gone and just puked everywhere in the last like hour. Normally they pump while we're live, but you know, it is what it is. Sometimes you can't help. But the only thing to watch out, declining volume and a bearish trend is sort of where I would summarize Crow right now. Man, Athea's up 10.8%. Let's get it, baby. They could buy slowly just to maintain some control so that people don't sell right. Yeah, and I still think that the escrow is going to be something. I know people kind of think I'm crazy when I talk about that, but I definitely think that they've got all of this supply in the escrow. It's like, why would you just not do something with it? You know, anyway, that's just my opinion. That's my opinion. Right. This is the hourly chart for BTC. I'm still kind of optimistic, by the way. I mean, we're still back to October 20. Still back to kind of yesterday's lows, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but yeah. A Bored Apes hip again. Yeah. I think haven't they just gone back again with OpenSea or something? I feel like that's been a thing. I feel like OpenSea are trying to push the whole NFT narrative once again, which, I mean, I don't know. Maybe NFTs have a thing, but I think they've got to have core utility and actual use case, which would be like, oh, you can use them to, you know, as part of your house or something like that. But I mean, they're probably still like the most ridiculous thing in the world. I mean, how much is a Bored Ape right now? I mean, this is insane to think about it. The top offer on a Bored Ape right now is 7 ETH, which is this one. I mean, think about it. These things are like 100 ETH at some point. It's crazy. So this is a Bored Ape. This is currently 7.1 ETH. Let's have a look. Activity. Let's see what it is. I mean, this is, in fairness, this one's never actually been that high. It's always been around 7 ETH. I mean, it was bought for 0.08, which is an absolute shambles. But anyway. Yeah, I don't quite think they're hip yet, but I think there's certainly people are looking at them. In my opinion. Micro's up 76%. Nice, Marky Mark. Love it. Can you change your chat settings to subscribers only too, so people can't talk unless they subscribe? It might get you more subscribers. Yeah, it does, but you end up with you got to understand about a little bit about YouTube, by the way. As much as I like subscribers, and as much as people are great when they subscribe, by the way, it's views that's the important bit and watch time. And I used to do it, by the way. I used to have subscribers only, but people kind of come in and go, I can't chat in the group, man. I can't be bothered. So, yeah, I'm not a big fan of it, really. I'm not a big fan. Let's get one for the channel. I'm down for it, yeah. I'm down for it, bro. Let's do it. We just need 25 Gs and we're good. Hooked on 12% atom staking. Nice. Is that what it is? Man, yeah. That's pretty bullish. I'm hooked on 7.5% on Solana, which I think is up on the day. Back to 191. Did lose the 200 EMA on the 1 hour, but still looking pretty optimistic here. What is this? Why was this channel on there? What did we do on that channel? Yeah, we just have to be mindful of this. Look, you know, peak and then down. But look, I'm sort of. I think CPI is going to be the big one. Fuzzy Bear is pumping. I don't even know what that is, but it sounds great. Sounds great. Don't forget, by the way, if you haven't already tapped the screen, lock in a couple of likes. It definitely makes you feel better, by the way. And also, if you haven't found that thumbs up, we've got like 125 people here on YouTube. Shout out to everybody tuning in, by the way. Thank you so much for taking a bit of time out and coming and hanging with me. I appreciate it. It does absolutely make it feel like my hard work does pay off. So my look, I'm going to show my own bags a little bit just because why the hell not? I don't often talk about the channel too much, but my impression metrics are like 14%, which means that 14% of every individual that looks at my video clicks on it, which might not feel like a lot, but bear in mind that metric was like 6% sometimes. My average watch rate now is like nearly 4 minutes on like a 7-minute video, which is super bullish because that massively helps out as well. So, start you guys. All right. So I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Atom was like 18% stake in Coinbase. Yeah. I mean, Aerodrome Finance was good, but I mean, I don't know what it is now. I haven't even checked. It was like 3.6 or something the other day, which is an absolute disaster. But I say disaster. It's not really. It's just, it is what it is. Where are we at now? 3.9. Oh, I'm bullish. Give me my $85 worth of Aerodrome Finance. Oh my God. The other thing I found as well, by the way, on TikTok is that I need to start leveling up or something, which you could do by people interacting with this, by doing this, by the way. That's why I've put this in here. So using some of these like popular upvote things, tapping the screen, and then we can, I'm currently in League D2, whatever that means. But apparently the more you go up, the more people come in, yada, yada, yada. Probably need to speak to Waddy, maybe. He's a bit more like dialed into this stuff than I am. But yeah, so if you are interested in supporting the channel and being super bullish, then I'd appreciate it. Even if you just want to tap the screen. Love it if you tap the screen, by the way. Too bad I'm not going to subscribe to share my sarcasm, bro. You should be paying me. I mean, that feels true, actually. That feels true. Yeah, them things, Bits Blaze. Them. I don't know what they are, but that's what helps get things moving. So shout out to you, mate. What are they called? Sent a go popular to your live. Thanks, mate. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Crazy Curtis, right? It's huge too. What's that? What do you think you could be the target for AVAX at the end of the year? Man, I really want to see AVAX like go crazy, but feels like it's not. Am I bullish on altcoins? I've got to be, because most of my portfolio is altcoins. I don't own a lot of my kids own more Bitcoin than I do. Yeah, I have to be in a world where I still believe the altcoin markets are the best to come. Now, we've discussed the last couple of nights, equally on my update videos, particularly talking about the markets, where we talk about risk appetite. There is still a demand that risk is like a thing. And remember, crypto pumps on risk rather than, you know, sentiment. At the same time, you would argue that bull markets don't end in absolute fear. So yeah, definitely worthwhile. I'm just trying to see where this video is. So I talked about it, and I would highly recommend going and checking out this one here. They think it's all over. Highly recommend checking that video out, and then they make a break week for these. These two Bitcoin videos are definitely worthwhile looking at because they specifically talk about the demand and appetite for risk on assets, which essentially is BTC, etc. So yeah, definitely highly recommend checking those out. By the way, can we appreciate the thumbnail for tonight, by the way? Look at this thumbnail. Like, this thumbnail's class. The thumbnail artist doing a good job. He needs some more pictures, so he can't use the same picture twice. Like, he does these two. Look, these two are really good. This one's a bit naff in the middle, but these two are pretty good. Anyway, enough about me shelling my own bags. Technically my own YouTube channel bags. 2 kids got 10 BTC each. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? But yeah, I think, Toby, if you talk about altcoins, you have to be in a world where you believe more upsides to come. That's my view, by the way. So I definitely think it is. Bits Blaze, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. But yeah, I definitely think alts have got a move. If you believe Bitcoin's going to go higher, you believe that Bitcoin's definitely going to kind of keep rallying, then you've got to be in a world where you believe altcoins have still got a place to play in this market. And certainly, in my opinion, once markets flip, And so if you believe we've still got the best of the bull market to come, you have to believe the best of the altcoin market is still yet to come as well. You would then assume with a number of altcoins, especially when you look at this, so this is the total 2, by the way, which we've discussed a couple of times here on the channel, where you get to this narrative of, you know, the market, the total 2 is not even broke. Why are these lines on here? These lines aren't in the right place. There we are. You argue that actually this sentiment still very much feels in line with this market. So we've sort of talked about this pattern playing out a number of times. You know, are we going to come down? Well, you probably want to see us hit the 20-day EMA and then bounce back up to the upside. That probably gives us a push to around that 1.6 trillion. But this is the altcoin market minus Bitcoin and minus stablecoin as well. So, you know, that's kind of where I get to, in my opinion. And I think hopefully this will print us a little bit more upside momentum. We'll see. I think Obi's a happy bunny with the Arsenal score. What is it? I mean, I'm not a big football. I like international football, but I don't generally keep up to date with like I don't keep to date with domestic football. In fairness. Do 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 do. Share your portfolio, bro. Show us your $40 bucks, $40 of BTC, bro, and the sand you hold. I don't hold any sand. I don't hold any. Is it 4-0? Jesus. Have you heard we are at the beginning of 1 year bear, 2 bear? I don't buy it. I've heard loads of people talk about the bear market's in, and you know, I'm just not in that thing. See you later, Fairground. Good to see you, buddy. As always, appreciate it. I don't believe the bear market's in. I just don't believe it. We're at 111,000 on BTC, for example. All right, that's fine. That doesn't scream bear market to me. You could argue maybe given the sentiment of the market, but even this, and I think we've talked about this a number of times before. If you just look on a macro, you go, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I have to be in a world where I still think at the moment, macro trend is good. Do I think that, you know, do I think there's a little bit more risk in the market? Potentially. Do I think that, you know, we are potentially heading towards a decisive moment in the market? Yeah. I mean, you'd be wrong to kind of, it doesn't feel like euphoric, crazy bull market. Which again, you could argue, well, maybe we've not even got into the bull market. Maybe we still sit a little bit waiting. Difficult one, but I don't believe in a bear market. Not at the minute. Not at the minute. I'm the same. I'm more an international sport. Yeah. Big Al says, who said we're in a bear market? Where is the evidence? Yeah, look, I think it's just a point of discussion. I think that's kind of why it's been brought up as opposed to it being a statement to be specifics. I'm look at the vid, bro. Where is the evidence? Yeah, look, I'm with you, by the way. Macro sentiment feels still very much an uptrend. I don't believe for a second that we are in we're a downtrend. Why does my line keep getting deleted off the Bitcoin price? It's kind of starting to bug me a little bit. I don't, as of right now, I don't. And I actually took a little bit of heat to Twitter because I thought it was funny. Right, where do I need to be? Oh my God, that's not what I want to do. I hate it when it does this. We did this yesterday. Do you remember? And it was just like, what are you doing, bro? There we go. What are you doing right now, bro? That's it. That's it. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm very much in this kind of camp right now. I think the market structure feels fine. I think the market looks fine. Doesn't mean that we are in a risk. I don't believe. Doesn't mean that equally there isn't risk. I think with ever, you know, assets like this, you could get, you know, we said, didn't we, get some sort of absolute dumperino Trump tweet. You know, we could get one of them, but yeah. They say that we are in a bull market, but feels bearish. I mean, I think it feels bearish on a short term as opposed to the longer term, and I think it only feels bearish because we've had a dump, and I think the reason why I think it feels a little bit bearish is because of that big dump. By the way, that big dump that we got. What do you want? The 8-day EMA. Is it the big red? Hold on. What is the 8-day one? What the flipping heck is all this? Shit. That's not what I need. Not what I need. Oops. There we go. Sorry. Got it. Got it. Right. There we go. The 8 EMA is the big. Let me just get rid of all these. There we go. So yeah, I mean, you'd argue still very much in the trend. Still very much in the trend. And up here, you know, I mean, we're slightly behind it on the weekly candles, but yeah, I mean, we're above it on the daily. So betting odds would be good. Yeah, as long as BTC holds 100 to 98K, the bull structure holds. On the monthly, oh, sorry, you want to have a look at the monthly. So, yeah. I mean, look, we wicked down perfectly, hit it again on that trend line as well. So the big red line, by the way, you can't really see it. Let me try and make it a little bit brighter. There you go. There you go. That's Al. We'll call that Al's line, the Al's EMA line. So yeah, still holding up pretty well in fairness. In your analysis, are you weighted mostly towards fundamentals, technical sentiment, or a mixture? I would say right now that I'm taking a lot of my steer from macroeconomic data. So specifically what's going on with the US government, what's going on with debt, leverage debt, margin debt, US debt. I think they're all key things. Why? Because they're going to drive the Federal Reserve. Remember, the bull market or the market don't move on sentiment. They move on cheap money, right? So particularly risk on assets. People are more inclined to do it. I'm on the monthly, Al. What the hell are you talking about? I'm literally on the monthly chart. On the monthly U-Chopper is where it's valid. This is the monthly Bitcoin chart. You don't see it in the background, look. BTC, 1 month. Ah, massive weapon. Talking about. So yeah, so I think there's way more as a macro thing. This whole thing with China, I think is going to be interesting. You can't help but escape the fact that there might be some other shit at play as well, though. Let's have a really quick look at not Chinese public debt. No one cares about that. No one cares about that right now. Let's have a look and see what's going on over here, which didn't work the other day, but this is where a lot of FOMO, FUD, whatever you want to call it, comes from right now. There's a lot of nervousness, equally a lot of like complete weapons on the hyperdash. These are obviously all your traders that are on perp dex trading right now. Sentiment, by the way, bearish. All right, let's call it as it is. 65% of the entire market over here is short. Now, sometimes being short isn't necessarily a good thing, but there's some big old positions that allegedly have all been opened, which, I mean, people are claiming these are all the Trump insiders. I don't know if that's true, by the way. I don't know. But, you know, you got a perp equity, this one here, by example, which I believe this is the one that shorted the market post the gigantic dump. Is currently short ETH, but is down quite significantly, actually. Short BTC, up 3/4. I mean, this is a big old... I mean, look at that. Short Aster at 14 million. I mean, that's a pretty big accumulation right now. So, yeah, they are 185 million total valued. Withdrawals 109, leveraged $473 million right now. And they're up 21 million. So these are kind of where you're getting some of the nervousness in the market. Some of the kind of like, well, all these people are... You know, I still think, I don't care what people say, by the way, I still think some of these people that were put in Hyperdash are plants. I still think James wins one, by the way. And I'm not hating on the guy. I have no beef with anybody, but can't help but think something doesn't feel right about it. If the top was 126, then we are in a bear market. So 111 is a price we have to visit in a bear market. Yeah, but equally, bear markets would be, you wouldn't get the move like we got today. Really, I think anyway. But I mean, time's going to tell, isn't it? I mean, you know, a lot of macro data suggests that we're not in a bear market. Does it show the leverage they're using? Yes. So you've got here, look, 10x on Ethereum, 10x on BTC, 5x on Hype, 10x on Solana, 3x on Aster, 5x on Pump. Yeah, it's a pretty big portfolio. It's a pretty big portfolio, but yeah, I mean, does this make a difference? I don't know. Potentially it does. Potentially it does. Boom, boom, boom. But yeah, I mean, that's a really long-winded way of saying, yeah, that's kind of where I sit right now in terms of just where I believe the market's going to go. And we have to stay close to it. Well, so my view is, bear in mind that the whole hyperliquid thing came from James Wynn and kind of how he was. You're telling me that someone traded and got to $100 million in profit, $100 million, and lost it all. Like, come on. I don't care who you are. And I don't care how much money you've got. I don't believe for a split second people can lose 100 million and just be like, whatever, it doesn't really matter, I don't care. Unless you have, and the only reason I say this, by the way, the only reason I say this is with exchanges, occasionally you can get funded accounts. So when you look at people that are trading on accounts and they open like insane trades and stuff, sometimes they are exchange funded accounts, right? So they get an allocation of capital. They don't really get to it. Some of them even agree that, okay, if you make profit, you can take the profit out. But a lot of them tend to be funded accounts. I think that was what happened here. I think that's what happened here. I think it was a funded account because it's worked. I mean, everyone's trading perp decks and all that kind of rest of it. So, right, we just got a little bit of breaking news. I don't think it's the biggest news in the world, by the way, but we'll bring it up. President Trump says gas, groceries, and energy prices are way down. We have a real stiff at the Federal Reserve. I can't help with that. But he's leaving soon. Jesus Christ, he just went absolutely ham.
Rates are too high. Gasoline prices are way down. Grocery prices are way down. Energy prices are way down. Mortgage rates are down. We have a real stiff at the Federal Reserve. I can't help that. But he's going to be leaving soon. And inflation has been defeated. But even though his rates are too high, the economy has been amazing.
There you go. I mean, what more do you want? I mean, does that make a difference to the markets? Obviously, it makes a difference to the markets. It dumps the markets. Shut up, Trump. Stop talking. Stop it. Shout out to you, Vern. Appreciate it. He just needs to stop talking, doesn't he? Like, do you know what I mean? It's just like, come on. Stop talking about the economy. Anyway. Good. Casey, what's going on? Welcome in. Is Web3 good? I mean, I enjoy it. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of fun. It's a it's an interesting place as well. This is still the smallest correction on BTC we have had this bull run since 2022. There you go, Stardog. Stardog, I thought you were super bearish. Do not buy that. No, makes that money. And then, yeah, exactly. Exactly, Al. That's 100% my point as well. 100% my point is that, like, you know, you don't come into this market, make 100 million and then lose it all. Like, I don't care who you are. Don't care who you are. Like, you don't make 100 million and then just piss it all up the wall by doing the same thing you did to make 100 million. I mean, it's interesting, the roasts of some people today, right? The roasts of some people today. Like, oh, this played out well. I mean, I couldn't even help it. I got in on a couple of them. Couldn't help myself. Although, unfortunately, now I'm eating humble pie. Because we're down. Come on, bro. What the hell? Anyway, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe it was another liquidation event. Maybe it was another Binance effort. I don't know. Oh, no. Oh, no. Is what it is. Is what it is. Where are we at? 12,500 likes on TikTok. What's going on? Welcome in. DG in the building. What's going on, buddy? Alliance Marla, thank you so much for the Go Popular. They are apparently the things that pump this channel, so appreciate it. Crushing it right now. Thank you so much. And I know you're a massive supporter as well, so I appreciate you guys. And welcome in. If you're brand new here, by the way, don't forget, hit that follow button. Every day, we're bringing you the latest and greatest in the cryptocurrency markets. Trying to keep you dialed in. Remember, you are in the most important part of this crypto bull market. Is the bull market Q4 sending, or are we going to freaking zero? That's the big question right now. Big Owl identifies as bullish. Like it. I'm neither bullish or bearish, really. It is what it is. I like it. I like it. Good point. What percentage dip is this dip compared to others? Do you mean this dip as in this macro dip? What are we going to look at? The weekly or the monthly? I feel like maybe we should look at the weekly candles. So the weekly dip, if we were to take the, I mean, you could argue that dip is 15%. You got a bigger dip here Monday the 3rd of March. What was Monday the 3rd of March? That was, oh no, it was only 14%. All right, okay, yeah. Back in 2024, what did we get? 18%. Back in, what was that? So, I mean, 15%, it's kind of the same as it's always been, really. For me, it's the big market structure on this. Well, Hassan, it's an interesting question. Does Fetch have any life? Apparently, I saw a thing today. I saw a thing today saying that there is allegedly some sort of legal case going on with Ocean Protocol to see like whether they basically dumped user funds. So I would watch it closely. We're in it in the investment group. It doesn't feel particularly great, by the way. I'm not gonna lie, it feels pretty shit actually. But I think if the Ocean Protocol thing kind of gets sorted, then it may come back up. At the minute, though, it looks absolutely terrible. Just to give you an idea, by the way, in the investment fund, we bought it at $2. It's 25 cents right now. That is pain, right? That is pain. But, you know, you live and learn. That is the market, unfortunately, we live into. And, you know, while we were buying at $2, people made money at 25 cents. So you're like, it is what it is. But, yeah, keep close to the Ocean Protocol thing. That could play out and may end up then giving some life back to it. I'm not saying it's going to, by the way. DC says 2-bit killing it today. Thanks, DG. Appreciate it. Daniel, when do you go live? Are you live 12 o'clock for me? I can never remember. I see you sometimes when I'm like, this is going to sound weird, by the way, but I see you sometimes when I'm like at work and it comes up. But yeah. 2-bit, according to you, the market is over in like 8 days. I said I thought that the market top would be in 8 days. Still could be, by the way. Still could be. I'm sure you'll be counting down the clock. I bet you got a calendar, hasn't it? Until I can go in and call 2-bit chopper. 7 days to go. Oh, dear me. I mean, it feels like, like I said, you never know. There might be a video coming out that says, I changed everything and I'm super bullish on 2026. Oh, dear me. People only hear what they want to hear. That's true. That's true. Yeah, kind of on a knife edge. It depends what you look at. So if you look at the wider macro, you say, we're kind of all right. You can't deny that on the shorter time frame, so go to 12 hours as an example, you kind of, you know, there's a little bit here. There's a little bit here. And if anything, you want to see this continue up. If this were to roll over and we come back down, then, you know, you do start to kind of think, well, maybe we've got, you know, a bit more of a downtrend, but we'll see. We'll see. Market top or Bitcoin top in 8 days, 2-bit. Bitcoin top was kind of what I said. It's kind of what I said. I thought we would get to the end of October with the assumption that, you know, I was certainly in a world where I thought Bitcoin would be topping around that point. Your thoughts on Zebek? Yeah, I sold on my Zebek because I couldn't do with the fact that it was bearish when the markets were bullish and bullish when the markets were bearish. So I do think it's got an opportunity. I know quite a few people in the community are in it. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Doesn't call himself 2-bit for nothing. There you go, you see. Equally, though, what I would say, and I'm not pivoting on my decision just at the minute, I don't think anyone saw that event coming. And I think if that event hadn't happened, I do think we would have probably done something like that and continued up. This really was a big thing. This whole Binance tariff shit show that happened on that Friday, like that was a big, you know, you look at that. I mean, what was that? 16% in 12 hours. That's a pretty aggressive dump on Bitcoin. So I do believe that if that hadn't have come in, then we may have been in a slightly different place than we are right now. So another speculation rally, even dead coins will pump. Just chillax. Hopefully RPM. Let's see it. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty drastic, I think. It was pretty drastic. So we'll see. We'll see. Kinda, you're backtracking, bro. Kinda, I don't know what you mean. Kinda what? Q1 26, I think big push. Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of sentiment to argue 2026 may be the bull market cycle top if you include leverage. The only problem to think about is if we get defaults or we get, you know, if inflation spikes, for example, then it could get pretty tasty. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I am a little bit disappointed by this because this would tell us that trend is now down on this. Trend is now kind of reversed a little bit. I mean, look at that. On the 4 hour. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, maybe it hits support right now on the 50-day EMA and starts to push back to the upside. Rejection at the 200. Hopefully it can kind of come back up. Hopefully. That would be good news. If it doesn't, then yeah. Is what it is. Oh, hold on a minute. Why, man, Netflix took anyone know why Netflix took a massive dump? Netflix just collapsed. At the same time the markets did. Ooh, maybe there's something in it. Maybe there's something in it. Curtis says, make me a millionaire in January for my birthday. We'll try. I mean, we're definitely trying. Bum, 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 bum. What's going on, Jean-Luc? Good to see you. Last November and December when we reached 100K, I was bullish. I think it'll repeat. I mean, the only thing to think about was the the push to 24, hold on a minute, the push to 124K, when we broke the all-time high, no one really cared. No one really cared, did they? It was a bit like, oh, hit a new all-time high in Bitcoin today. All right, fair enough. Whereas you're right, when we hit kind of here, it was like, you know, super excited. Markets were feeling very optimistic. People were pretty bullish on it, and it was like, oh, there we go. Like we hit kind of a new all-time high. So look at Litecoin and gold. Gold we've looked at. Gold shit the bed today. It's down 5.3%, down at 4124. I mean, look, it's the biggest decline I think we've seen this year, if not ever, I think, in gold. Litecoin, let's have a look at Litecoin. Man, Litecoin's still the 20 highest cryptocurrency. That's pretty wild, actually. That's pretty wild. I mean, I don't really care for Litecoin too much, but I mean, maybe it does a thing. Maybe it does a thing. I don't know. We'll see. Could be on sale right now. Netflix CEO won't give any 2026 guidance. Really? Yeah, I'm just looking at the price now. Like the price on Netflix just looks like it's absolutely dumped. I don't know what their what do you call it were. I don't know what their earnings report came in as, but yeah. USDT. Man, US Tether are minting more USDT than ever right now. Like they are really like minting a lot of USDT, which is kind of crazy. Any Dash fans? Holy crap! I mined Dash ages ago. I mean, I don't have any now, but yeah. Man, I was mining Dash back when I was doing like Genesis mining, cloud mining contracts. Man, Dash. It was like Dash, Monero. You know, they were all the rage at that point. Litecoin, I definitely have hold. I'm trying to think what coins were like. Sia coin. I think Sia coin's still a thing. I did a video like ages ago, and I actually talked about Sia coin being like a coin to keep your eyes peeled on. I think it's another privacy coin, right? I mean, 2017, I was talking about it. Wow. We'll see. I'm short in Litecoin and gold and BTC. Well, interesting. I mean, yeah, you're short on gold must be printing pretty well. Right now, the BTC daily candle is a long-legged doji spinning top. There's no way that's a real indicator. I don't care what you say. I've definitely heard of doji candle. Again, I'm not super up to all the candle patterns. A long-legged doji spinning top candle. Okay, I can't even believe I'm Googling this. A long leg doji is why does a spinning top come in? A candlestick pattern with a small body and a long upper and lower wick, indicating high volatility and indecision as bulls and bears battle without a clear winner. A spinning top is a similar pattern but with a slightly wider body, and it signals a balance of power between buyers and sellers with neither side in control. Both can signal potential trend reversals when appearing after a strong trend, especially at key support resistance levels. So if anyone is curious, by the way, technical analysis with Al. There you go. Look, that is the difference. So doji candle, spinning top. Is it not just a spinning top then? Or is it the bottom half a doji candle? Do you guys want to see this on TikTok, by the way? Is the bottom half a doji candle and the top half spinning top? Oh no, yeah, it's a spinning top pattern. Oh my God, look, I'm learning something. I'm actually learning something tonight. Al is teaching me the way. This is a spinning top, which could, what does it say? Could show trend reversal. So is this telling us that this is going to then start to come back down to the downside? So you saying that this is a bearish look or not? I guess is the question right now. Short PAXG. Yeah, how are they performing the gold standards? Draw a horizontal line at the top and bottom of the wicks. This will give you sideways range for the next few days. I called it here first. Draw a horizontal line at the top and bottom of the wicks. Can I not just do a what am I looking for here? This. So like that as an example. So you're saying we're going to trade in that range. Is that what you're saying? Next leg BTC will double again like it has of every weekly cycle low this bull run. Let's hope so. I'm down for it. Short PAXG 1 ounce gold. PAXG. I thought they were like some of the most the biggest performer. Where is it at right now? All right, it's just following the price of gold. So do you think gold's going to continue to come down? I did draw a horizontal line at the top and bottom of the wicks. That'll give you the sideways range for the next few days. Is that not? That's what I've done. Top and bottom of the wicks. Oh, what's everyone's BTC price prediction? Would love to see where you're all at. I'll go first. 176 on the fib level. Interesting. Algorand or XRP? Your pick, please. XRP. Only because I own XRP and I don't hold Algorand. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. That, by the way, I don't necessarily believe that Algorand's a bad pick. By the way, the whole ISO 2222, I think, is going to be the big indicator. So, man, it's like 10:15, everybody. I'm super late off the stream. We've been live for an hour and 50 minutes. Shout out to everybody tuning in tonight, by the way. What a stream. Nearly 1,400 views. So massively appreciate you guys. If you haven't already hit the like button, then please smash up the like button to buy your all-time high. Also consider subscribing to the channel if you want to become a channel member. And at the minute you get kind of a few perks, but this will definitely grow at a time. If you're bullish on this channel and you think we're going to go to the moon, as we think with the crypto market, then might be a chance to get in. Not financial advice. Also, if you want to grab a subscription here on TikTok, if you are a channel member and you're in the premium Discord, by the way, and your channel membership runs out, you get booted out of the membership group. So just be mindful of that, okay? This ain't no free charity. But we definitely will start to do some specific things for our members. I think that's going to be pretty epic. And yeah, hopefully we can start to see this really build out. And yeah, hopefully channel members are enjoying it so far. And it does massively help out the channel. So shout out to you guys. And I appreciate it. Right. As always, don't forget, I'm going to be back tomorrow night. Double stream tomorrow. So I'll be live as usual, 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. here in the UK. And then follow it up with a further stream with none other than CryptoVern. You can see him here all on TikTok, by the way. We'll obviously be live here on YouTube as well. But as always, thank you so much, everybody. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you for all the thoughts, opinions, advice, and the long-legged doji spinning top candle. I've learned something, so massive shout out to you, Al. Appreciate it. I know you like to troll sometimes, but we do appreciate you being here. And we'll be back tomorrow. So until then, thanks so much for watching, everybody. Catch you on the flip side. Or catch you back at $115,000. Let's get it, baby.